Well, I had the pleasure of chatting with a friend of mine that is also a local resident. Like she's lived here her whole life. And we had to talk about what it was like living here in the Verde Valley from the time she was a young child until now. So, over the last 60 years, what's changed? All right, so today I am doing interviewing my dear friend, Miss Phyllis McDaniel. I've known her for a number of years. We met doing a transaction. She's going to talk about that because I can't remember how exactly we met. And we are here in Cornville, and we're going to talk about living in Cornville and the benefits of being here. She's a lifelong resident.
That's right.
So that's part of why I want her also to be an interviewee. And yes, I will admit, we've been drinking wine.
Cheers.
Cheers, absolutely. Okay, so Phyllis, tell us a little bit about what you do, how long you've been doing it, company you're with, and then we'll talk about Cornville because that's much more fun.
Got it. Well, I grew up in this area. I have been a loan originator in the Verde Valley for 26 years. And I started out as a realtor. You might not know
I
that.
did not know that. I love it.
But I went to see about getting a loan, and she told me that she would see me in 2 years because I had just become self-employed. And she said, oh, by the way, I need help. So this is how I got into the mortgage business and started by answering phones. And it just was something that I took a liking to. I love helping people. And 26 years later, I can't imagine doing anything else. So I do all types of financing. We do purchase, refinance, construction loans, home equity lines of credit, lot loans, you name it, we finance it.
All right. Well, and that's part of what makes, knowing Phyllis wonderful, because whatever client I'm working with, there's a possibility that you may be able to help them with their loan situation. And that would be commercial, investors, regular people buying their homes, that type of thing. So all over. And I remember she loves working with first-time home buyers. That is her favorite thing. And she has helped me with several first-time home buyers, and they love her.
We do. First-time home buyers are very satisfying. Just so appreciative, and being able to help someone turn the key on that first home just makes my heart full.
It does. It does. It's a wonderful feeling. And yes, I'm drinking wine. She already had hers. She's got water. So don't mind me. If I get a little sloshy, I'll just deal with it. I don't drink very often.
It just makes it that much more spicy.
So just before we move on, so we are currently at Cove Mesa. I don't know if you can see it. Cove Mesa here in Cornville. They've been here 3 years.
Right.
They do food. So we did eat. We had the brie platter and the Cindy salad. Both were very good. And then we both had a flight of wine.
Yes.
She had the whites. She could speak to that. I had a flight of blended reds. This is one that I really like, so I decided to have an actual glass of the wine. And then I will be driving home.
I can add that the service has been amazing here.
Yes.
It's a lovely setting. The weather in November is perfect.
It is.
It's not too hot. It's not too cold. The leaves are changing color. And there's no other place, I think, that I would rather be right now than drinking wine with Jude Barnett, my good friend.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so part of the reason that I also wanted to talk with you, Phyllis, is because you are an original Arizonian.
That's true.
That's a rare beast,
That is
especially around here. And part of the thing, then obviously what my videos are about is living in the Verde Valley. Why would you want to live here? People that are selling, I want their buyers, their potential buyers, to know how awesome it is to live here. So I help sellers, obviously, but this is my way of getting the word out that it's a great place to live. Phyllis has lived here her whole life. So how do you think, what is like the biggest change that you've noticed from when you were younger to now? Let's talk about the good stuff first.
The biggest changes, well, it would be traffic.
We're talking
More
about the good
people.
stuff.
I just think more variety. I mean, as far as grocery stores go, there's more diversity now. I mean, when we were growing up, there were so few people. There were probably 300 people in
Really?
Cornville, and that included Lake Springs. So with more people coming in, there's just it adds more color and flavor to the Verde Valley. You learn more, right, from different types of people.
Right, exactly. And it's when you say diversity, are you talking about just because they're different people, or are you talking about different cultures, different ethnicities, different religions, all of
I
that?
would say all of the above. Yes. I mean, the original families were, well, there were Yavapai Apache Indians, and there were Hispanics, and then there were white folks. And we just didn't have a lot of other cultures back in the day. So to have all different types of people living in, it's been a great thing.
Okay, cool. I like that. And what are some of the things that you love about living in the Verde Valley? Because you've lived here your whole life. You could have moved anytime. A lot of people do. But you have chosen to stay here. You've got some pretty deep roots here.
Well, and I did. I mean, my family were pioneers. They came before Arizona was a state in 1876, and on my dad's side in probably 1880s. What was the question?
What being here?
What do I love about
What do you
being here?
love living here? I mean, just talk a little bit more about your parents being pioneers. That's freaking your grandparents or your parents?
It was my great grandparents. So my great grandfather jumped a steamer in 1876 from Ireland and worked his way across the United States and settled in Oak Creek Canyon. So what was impactful about that is in 1876, they rounded up the Native Americans and took them to a reservation in San Carlos and literally left the fires burning in Indian gardens. So that's where the history began. But what I
Not a
love
good history,
about
unfortunately. Sad
a
history.
sad history.
Sad history.
I mean, growing up here was idyllic. We were not tethered to anything. There were no cell phones. We were out playing from the time the sun came up to after dark, riding our horses, swimming in the creek, walking everywhere. It was perfect. We had one set of grandparents on one side of our house and the other, down the road. So it was a very tight-knit family.
Okay. Oh, that's part of what I like about living here. Honestly, I don't have kids or anything, but I do see very much family is like really important here in the Verde Valley. It's not just a place for old people to retire. It's family is very important. They have a lot of family activities, a lot of family focused, everything. And we were just in an event earlier. You probably saw the video at the Pottery Festival, and everybody was there, and it was a great experience to just bring your kids to, your dogs to, and just enjoy being outside in this absolutely gorgeous fall weather. I mean, it's so beautiful right now.
Well, and that's a really good point, Judith. But I think what I would also add in addition to family is that you have a real sense of community here in the Verde Valley. I mean, when I am working with clients and they're asking me what it's like to live here, I always tell them that I'm a little bit prejudiced because I did grow up here, but it's a little bit like Mayberry. People are polite, they're courteous to each other, they're helpful, and you don't always get that feeling in a big city. It's a little bit impersonal. You don't really want to make eye contact with people, and that's not what you have here. This is really a down-home, wonderful gem of a place.
Right. I would agree with that. And we were talking about that in my interview with Kirsten, is that I grew up in a small town of 700 people. And I worked in many small towns as part of my career as a psychologist. And one of the problems with some small towns is that they're not very welcoming. It's like if you haven't grown up here and lived here for multiple generations, no matter how long you live there, you're a stranger, you're an outsider, and that's not fun. So here, it doesn't feel like that at all. People are welcoming. People are very, if you need help, they'll help. I mean, okay, I have to tell the story, and Phyllis can fill in, because I was in Mexico, and Phyllis, this is how I had never met Phyllis in person. And I was in Mexico, and this is what we mean by small town people stepping in and helping. I was in Mexico, and Dennis, my partner, was not feeling well, and he actually had collapsed on the doorstep of our home. And I was like, I don't know who to call. I don't know what to do. And he had talked to Phyllis for some reason about a mortgage, probably. And
we were doing a loan together, and I had
Yes.
called him to check in, and he told me that he was prone on his front porch.
yes. And so then Phyllis is like calling me in Mexico going, is Dennis okay? Because I just talked to him and he didn't sound very good.
No.
And I'm
That's
like,
pretty well.
no, he's not. And you immediately jumped to help.
I
And
dropped everything.
she
I
dropped-
canceled all my appointments
this
this
was like
afternoon.
whatever time of day it was. And I remember it was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And we had just moved over here, so I didn't really know anybody yet.
That's right.
And so you had a daughter who's a nurse and a son or somebody who's an EMT?
He's a firefighter paramedic.
Okay. So she took care of it. She called 911, got the ambulance there, went to the hospital. Oh, and Mac went too, her husband, to the hospital and stayed with him at the hospital for quite a long time.
We did for hours.
For hours. Oh, yeah, for hours. You know how the emergency
It's a 3-hour cover charge at the hospital sometimes. It's an ED.
Yeah, unless you are like something's broken, you're having a heart attack or a stroke or bleeding out, you're gonna wait.
It's away.
And that's just the way it is at any emergency room because pain is not an emergency in their opinion. So anyway, that is how I met Phyllis. Like then we became close friends because then we had lunch with Phyllis and Matt, her husband, and it's just been like come from there. That was pretty awesome. So
Yeah.
that tells you.
That was easy to do.
Yeah, see, I mean, I love that. And that is truly what I've experienced living here. Living here every day, I honestly, and I don't know if you do this because you live here your whole life, but every day I walk out and I say, God, thank you that I get to live here.
I do. I'm very grateful for where I live. And I have traveled a lot in my life, and I've always come back here. This is where my network is, all my childhood friends, my family. And, you know, as it's grown, you ask me about what has changed. I mean, we've gotten so many good restaurants.
Yes, Phyllis likes she is a food, what do they call it?
A foodie.
A foodie.
A
She's
foodie.
a foodie.
I'm
So if
food
you-
forward.
Yeah, so any if you want to know about all the places to eat here, Phyllis is the one to go to. She knows. She's like, have you been here? You been there? That's what she was asking me today. And I'm like, no, I didn't even know that existed. She's like, well, you got to try this. And so that's part of living here is, yes, all of that influx of people has brought a lot of restaurants, a lot of variety of restaurants. Like you said, the food here today was really good. The food at the pottery.
Yes, it
show,
was.
we had this amazing. Did I take a picture? I don't think I took a picture.
I don't think
It
so.
was like it was a veggie sandwich that was this big.
She said,
You know,
how am I
gonna
going to eat it? So you're going to retract your jaw.
You know, like, yeah, and it was amazing. But the food was fun there, and just in general, the food is great. So what do you do for fun here?
Well, you know,
Besides
I love being a tourist in my own area. So the great thing about the Verde Valley is that it encompasses Jerome, Clarkdale, Cottonwood, Cornville, Sedona, Camp Verde, and all of these places have a rich history, and they all have things that you can go and learn. Camp Verde was actually an old army camp.
got a
Jerome with the
fort.
mine. Yeah, there's so many things to do and explore. I mean, Sedona with just its natural beauty, so many amazing hikes. Even in and around Cornville, there's just so many things like the Page Springs fish hatchery that we passed today.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
this is a remarkable place to take your kids and feed the little trout.
Feed the fish. Let's go feed the fish. Exactly. Yeah, and I noticed driving along there was a lot of different like places, like not just wine tasting, like you said, the fish hatchery, and there was something else. I can't remember what it was, but it's like there's a lot of really just fun places to go and do things.
Discover.
And exactly. And I love what you just said, vacationing in my own backyard.
Right.
I feel like that all the time. Like today, we did the pottery Festival.
Right, and remember,
Which was so fun.
you spotted deer. So
Oh, yes, I
lots
saw
of
deer.
wildlife. There's
Yeah, back
tons
to-
of wildlife, and we're sitting there and you're just like, what's that antelope?
Sorry, I look like an antelope. I got my glasses
on the side of the hill. But it was actually a little group of mule deer.
Mule deer,
Right
yeah.
in the midst of everything else.
Yeah, and there's a lot of activities. So if you want to know about that, you can go back and watch the pottery video, the pottery festival video. But yeah, it's nature here. There's a lot of it. A lot of it. Javelinas everywhere. Like there,
You can float the river.
You can float the river. Yes, I have done
Kayak
that.
the river. Oh, you need to kayak. We should go kayaking together.
Okay, all right, I'm game.
That's a
Sign
fun
me
thing
up.
to do.
I'll do
Yeah.
that. I'm game.
Take the Verde Canyon train. Always a good time. You can ride the train, or you can do the midnight train or the moonlight train. They have a Halloween train, a Christmas train.
They have a lot. We went. Dennis and I went for his birthday one year in October. It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous.
Love it.
That was fun. And yeah, so the Verde Valley train. We would definitely have to go kayaking.
Oh, I totally would.
I would love to
Yeah,
do
it's a
that. I
blast.
was like, where do you do that around here?
You start at it's Tapco to Tuzigoot. So there's a beautiful Anasazi Indian ruin, and you start at Tapco, which is the old part of the old mining operations.
Where is that?
It's in Clarkdale. You start in Clarkdale.
Oh, I did not know that.
But the other great thing about the Verde Valley, it really is at the heart of Arizona. So we are so close to, it's a day trip to Canyon de Chelly. It's a day trip to Monument Valley. It's less than a day trip to the Grand Canyon.
True.
We're
I've done that in a day.
close to
That's easy
so
peasy.
many natural, beautiful sites.
Exactly. Exactly. You don't have to go down to Phoenix. You can go up north. And there's just, yeah, I'm just starting to tap into some of that stuff. And like, you know, when I first moved up here, or before we even moved up here 100%, we were riding our motorcycles up to
Fun thing to
Payson,
do.
up to
Yeah.
Flag, up to, you know, Sedona, over the mountains. So it was kind of one of those things that was more motorcycle riding. And this is the perfect time of year to do motorcycle riding. If you're a motorcyclist and or a bicyclist, this is a beautiful time of year to be doing all of that. But yeah, that's true. Everything just it's so close.
A lot of really great hikes. So there's a really great
Yes.
hike, and maybe you can do this one with me. It starts at Dead Horse State Park, which is another just stunning place that you can go with your kids or camp out for the weekend or take your RV. But the Lime Kiln Trail starts at Dead Horse, and then you walk through the flats all the way up to Lower Red Rock Loop Road. It's about a 21-mile hike, but it's all
Really?
flat. This time of year is perfect to go.
Okay. Have you done it?
I have
And how long did it take you?
all day.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I did 7 miles in 3 hours.
Okay.
So, okay, we're going to start really early.
Somebody put water along the trail.
It's like,
yes.
there's got to be water because
There's
I
gotta
will
be
die.
water.
I
And
can't
you
carry that much.
gotta have some acetaminophen.
Yeah, and food. You got to bring food besides just electrolyte gummies.
But it's a
like-
great walk to take your dog. I mean, there's lots of places in the Verde Valley that you can bring your pet.
Yeah,
Your pet
that's
can
true.
come and stay out on the patio. I mean, we're dog friendly.
Exactly.
We're animal friendly.
We're animal friendly, but you're going to see a lot of people out here with their dogs everywhere. Dogs, any event, any restaurant, their dogs everywhere. And it's a very dog friendly community. I like that. When we moved here, we had 5 dogs, but now we have 1. But yeah, it's kind of one of those things. Not all communities are real dog friendly. When I say like wine tasting places have places outside where you can have your dogs. They have patios at restaurants. But yeah, hiking, you're going to see people out hiking with their dogs all the time.
That's right. Tons of Indian ruins. I mean, when we were kids, riding in and around Cornville, there's all sorts of pottery shards and arrowheads. I can remember finding just the coolest arrowheads when we were kids. And it's just,
I love that.
yes, it's a great experience. I mean, there's a few places in the Verde Valley where you'll find old gravestones, like a piece of sandstone where they
Cool.
have, etched, here lies John.
John, whoever, and 1821.
1876.
Yeah, I was like, okay, died on the trail.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, that's kind of a cool thing because this is definitely built by the pioneers.
Well, it was. I mean, and it was cattle country. So on my dad's side, my grandpa was a cowboy, and
That's so cool.
his dad and his dad's brother helped build the Schnebly Trail. So we had cattle in Cornville, and then they would run them up that trail, and then we had another ranch in Munns Park. So, back in the day with the pickaxe and just hard labor,
Oh
so
my
that the cattle
God,
could
backbreaking
Right.
labor to get the
but
cattle
that trail
from.
still exists, and that is a trail that you can hike. I mean, there's so much interesting history here. I mean, back in the day, when my dad was a teenager, everybody's heard of Robbers Roost. This is a very cool place up near Sedona where you can hike, and there's a round hole in the canyon wall. But my dad was up there as a kid, just diddling around, and found a horse. Well, the horse didn't have a brand on it. So, and we're talking, this is probably the 1930s, 1935. So he got to take that horse home, and that became his horse.
I love it. I found a horse.
He
Bring
found
it
a
home.
horse. It wasn't
Bring it
branded.
home.
That was his horse.
I love it. I love it. See,
A lot of
it's-
cowboy history.
Yeah. Well, and that's true. I haven't even touched on the fact that there's a lot of cowboy history here, that it was about the ranchers, the cowboys, running the cattle, open range. I mean, open range. And so that's a good topic to kind of maybe do a little more talking on, because I don't really know a lot about that. I grew up on a farm, but we had everything all contained. There was no open range, no cowboys.
Well, and it's just, it's an interesting thing to be from one place, not to have moved around a whole lot, with a landscape that you understand. I mean, I know the names of all the mountains when we're looking at House Mountain. There's Castle Mountain, Black Mountain. My grandma Loy used to ride her horse from Cornville to Beaver Creek to teach school. I mean, we take that for granted because that car trip is probably 30 minutes. But to get up every
Morning and ride her horse.
ride a horse to go teach school, which was, 30 miles away
Yeah,
at least?
at least.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank God there's no snowstorms here. Or at least not very many. And if it comes, it doesn't stay.
But thank goodness for people like her. I mean, she was so
Yeah, that's
into education
dedicated.
and
That's really
vocabulary, and I think it propelled my father, who, they grew up dirt poor. But my dad went into the Army, and after he got out of the Army, he fought in the Korean War. He came back and went to school at ASU on the GI Bill, and
Good for him.
ended up getting his PhD. And I think that, you can put that back to my grandma, who taught school. I mean,
Yeah, it's like
education was so
education
important.
is
Right.
important. Exactly.
And even though they didn't really have a lot.
Hey, but education, especially taking advantage of it on the GI Bill, was the way to go. I mean, that's awesome. That's so
Well, you
amazing.
just think about that in the Wild Wild West. I mean, you think about comparing that to the Gilded Age in New York, in the 1800s, how they were living, and conversely, how they were living out in the West. It truly was the Wild Wild West,
Yeah.
and that was this. And, that's a funny story. Everybody laughs about Cornville, so I can remember when I went down to school at the U of A, and I told people that I was from Cornville, and I had been living in Lexington, Kentucky, and that's where my dad taught school. So I had a bit of a twang. So when I went down to Tucson, and I would tell people that I was from Cornville, that's what they would want to know. Where's Cornville? In Iowa? It's in Arizona.
It's in Arizona.
But-
It's a tiny town, but it's big now.
But the reason that it got that name is it was a mistake. They sent in to the U.S. Postal Service. It was supposed to be Coneville, like somebody's last name, Cone, C-O-H-N.
Oh.
But whoever was on the receiving end thought it was Cornville, and so here we are.
Oh, that is so funny. Now, they do take advantage of that. In the fall, they have a corn fest.
That's in Camp Verde, though.
Oh, is it? I thought it was here in Cornville. Oh, sorry.
That's one thing, a memory
Who knows?
from growing up here is that we all had huge gardens. Everybody had a garden, and we grew everything. Corn, squash, watermelons, you name it, we grew it. Oh, we had chickens,
I
we
love
raised cows. It just was the bucolic life. It was an idyllic childhood.
So do you think that people coming now would be able to find some of that same idyllic childhood or idyllic kind of life.
Oh, geez, I think people are craving that. They want a little piece of land.
Yeah.
I mean, people that are coming to Cornville, they're coming because they want a little, they want an acre, they want 2 acres.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got a couple of acres now, but we have cows next door. We have little potbelly pigs. We've got goats. We've got chickens. I mean, everybody in the neighborhood has chickens. Everybody in the neighborhood is friendly, though. I love that community. I love that small town America.
Yeah, and it's the small town America that's a friendly small town America, because not all small towns are friendly. But yeah, I do find that a lot of my clients coming here looking to buy here are looking for like an acre. They want to have chickens. They want to have goats. A lot of times I don't know why it's goats, but I love goats. I love baby goats. And they want small animals so they can have like a little mini farm. And they want room for their kids to play. And they want some, I call it elbow room from their neighbors.
Well,
They don't want to be
goats, you can
stacked on
make
top
soap.
of each other.
You can have a
They
small
will.
business.
Yeah, you
Right?
make goat.
You can make a dough of it here.
There you
And
go.
I
Love
have
it.
had people move here that have started microgreen companies and ended up selling the company for hundreds of thousands of dollars, but it started small. So to be able to build something like that, it's very open to that.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, I'm sweating here. It's all the wine. I didn't dress for the weather.
It's all that goat talk.
Yeah, it's hot. Don't touch the really like my goats. Getting all hot over the goats. Yeah, please get that out.
Or not.
Oh my God, we digress. So, anything else that you would like people to know that are considering living here? Obviously, the weather's phenomenal. We have 4 seasons. Yes, it does get hot in the summer, but I'd rather be here and hot than in Phoenix and hot, or in Florida and hot, where it's sweaty. It's dry, and no, stop. It's a dry heat. Yes, we're not all skeletons, but yes, I have air conditioning. I'm just like, it's a dry heat. No, it's hot. I'm telling you, it's hot. But it cools off in the evening, which is nice. So we have the 4 seasons. We have acreage easily available to people. Honestly, there's
Absolutely.
acreage. And we're not talking you have to spend $1 million to buy a house that has acreage.
No.
It's, maybe $450. Loud car. Okay. So, maybe $450, $500, maybe a little more, but it depends on the house, of course. But if you want land and you want elbow room to do some things, raise a great garden, be organic,
Have
whatever.
horses.
Horses. You only have to have an acre to have a horse. 1 acre per horse.
I can teach you how to ride.
Teach you how to ride? I do not know how to ride. Teach you how to ride motorcycle.
That's good too. That's good
That's
thing
good
to
to
know
know.
too.
It's good to know. But yeah, that's I have loved every minute of living here, and I've loved the people. I love the diversity in the landscape. It's not all the same everywhere either. But there's a lot of mountains, and I'm gonna have you take me out and give me all the names, because I'm like, I gotta learn the names of these mountains. People ask me all the time. I'm like, I don't know. It's a mountain. I haven't lived there
You
that
gotta know
long.
your flora and fauna.
Flora and fauna.
Right.
Explain.
So your flora are all the native trees and flowers, and your fauna, that's all the native animals, like the mule deer we saw today.
Okay. Well, I didn't have my glasses on, but I knew it was something. I knew it was a deerish thing.
But we also have javelina and pronghorn. We don't
Okay.
have any antelope. They're
I
pronghorn.
call it an antelope.
Lots of deer,
Never
lots
let me
of
live
elk.
that down.
We've got bears.
Yes,
We do have
bears.
rattlesnakes, and people always ask about that, but I haven't seen a rattlesnake in years. And when we were in high school, I ran track. We literally would run over the top of a rattlesnake. They're not going to come, and they're not aggressive unless you're poking at them or trying to pick them off.
Well, that's good to know. That makes me feel better, because I do go out and hike a lot, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm so trained. So I try to not go out when I think they might be out. I try to stay really on the trail and don't go off.
They will leave you alone. I mean, most people get bitten by rattlesnakes because they're trying to pick them up.
Oh, or
Because maybe they've had too much beer or wine.
Or the dogs are trying to bite them,
It
and that's
could
why the
be.
dog gets bit. It's
Yeah.
like, well, stop messing with the dog.
The dog is poking at them.
Yeah, that's good to know. That's a huge relief. Actually, that should be a huge relief to you, to know that. That makes me feel much better because people do ask about that.
I don't run across it. I mean, people worry about things like tarantulas and scorpions and snakes, and
I have a tarantula story.
It's uncommon.
Oh no, it's not.
Well, tarantulas maybe.
Tarantulas.
They won't hurt you.
Oh, they won't hurt you. But I have I have like a total phobia about spiders.
Lots of people do. Arachnophobia.
Yeah, I have arachnophobia. I mean, it's really bad. It's better than it used to be. But when it really rains, they come out because they're underground.
That's
and
right.
it gets wet. And they come out so they can like be breathing and whatever, not drown.
And breathing.
Yeah.
Breathing and breathing.
Breathing and breathing. So there was a season where it was really raining a lot. And it was so funny. There were freaking tarantulas everywhere I went. There was a damn tarantula. And I was at a client's house over in Rimrock, and it was if I hadn't said anything, he would have pulled one on, because he had no boundaries about that stuff. He's the only brother of like 4 sisters, and he would always tease them about stuff. And so we stepped out of his house. It had been really raining, and he goes, "Oh, there's a tarantula." And I'm like, "Oh," and I totally freaked out. And yes, there was a tarantula, and he would have like taken it, and because they're not poisonous, and he would have come at me with that thing, and I'm like, "No."
But they're furry, they're
And
fuzzy,
they're furry and they're big. And they're big. They're
they
really
look
big.
intimidating.
Yes, they are. They are intimidating. So whenever I see them, and they do come out quite a bit, yeah, I kind of like, stay over there.
Good advice.
Stay over there. I know you're not poisonous, but I don't want to have anything to do with you.
You want to know where they are.
Yes, and not in my house. I've never seen one in the house. Not even. Oh, God. I'm sorry, but the thought of that would send me.
It's grossing her out.
I couldn't do it. I would have lost it. Oh, totally. I'm so sorry. Yes. So, flora and fauna, is that what you said?
Flora and fauna.
Flora and
That's
fauna. Okay. I am still learning the flora and fauna of Arizona, but there's a lot of it. Thank God for Google, where you can take a picture and it'll tell you what
That's
the
right.
plant
It will
is,
tell you what it is.
which is very helpful for those of us that don't know. So yes, that is my friend Phyllis. She is a wonderful mortgage broker as well. I've worked with her many, many times. So if you are looking for someone who knows the Verde Valley, and she does more than the Verde Valley, you do where? Where do you all serve?
Right now, I'm licensed in Arizona.
Okay.
I used to be able to cross state lines, and I will again soon.
Because you're just in the new broker agency.
I just changed companies, and our owner just bought a bank. So that's the key. When you're backed by a bank, it's easier for us to cross state lines. So it's coming.
Okay.
It's coming.
So anywhere in Arizona, but in particular, I work with Verde Valley. So that's when I would be bringing buyers and recommending them to Miss Phyllis for your loans. Again, she works with commercial, right? Or somebody in your CMG does.
In our company, we do.
And investors, you work with investors.
Investors
and
do.
buyers. So yes, she will take care of you,
VA,
refinancing.
USDA, FHA, non-QM, which is all your outside the box debt
People.
service coverage ratio, and
All the
so
good stuff.
if you don't have tax returns, it's not a deal breaker, right?
That's
If you're
good to know.
self-employed, sometimes that can be a deal breaker when we're looking at tax returns. We've got other ways to finance you now,
Cool.
and that's
Very
the
cool.
non-QM world.
Very cool. And I will say that Phyllis is really excellent at communicating, staying in touch by phone, email, text. She keeps you updated on everything. She's a great problem solver. So if there's any way to make something come together, she knows she will stay with it until she figures it out.
Well, that is a fact, and I'll be your new best friend for the next 30 days while you're in that transaction.
This is true. You'll talk to
I
her.
am a hand holder.
We like hand holding. We love hand holding. So if you have any questions about buying a home mortgage, it's the one. If you have any questions about loans here in the Verde Valley, I would recommend giving Miss Phyllis a call. Her information will be below, so you can contact her by email, phone, text.
Smoke signal.
Yeah, you do live in the West.
Thank you, Phyllis McDaniel. Thank you so much for taking the time and sharing your childhood, your family history, what it was like for you growing up in the Verde Valley, and that you still, even with all the changes and how much busier it's gotten here, that you still encourage families to live here, that it's still a great idyllic type of place to live. So comment, subscribe, let me know what other information you might like to know about this beautiful Verde Valley and how I can maybe help you as a buyer or a seller make things happen for you here in the Verde Valley.